God, got some history going back with Sonny Carson.
Yeah.
Right. And see, Sonny Carson, to my generation, my particular generation, right. We know him for the skits on the Wu-Tang album.
Yeah.
Right. But he has an extensive history in Medina, dealing with bringing people together and also getting jobs. Even with Akbar.
Sucker think he good. Sucker think he can whoop me, and I know he can't whoop me. Hey boy, the nigga whole style is chump.
Yeah.
And everything. So if you could build on that, a little bit.
Well, when I met Sonny Carson, God, I had a liquor store on Park Avenue. I had just lost my liquor store. I had a liquor store on Park Avenue and Carlton in Medina. Park Avenue and Park and Carlton Avenue in Fort Greene. At the beginning of the project, under the L highway. But anyway, and I was going through a bad time. But I had just lost my son, Rasheem. And I had lost a lot of people in my family, in that year, from spring all the way to October, November, I lost a lot of members of my family, immediate family, my sister, my mother, my son. And right after that, I lost my son's first cousin, his aunt's first daughter, Tondaleo. She got killed in Brooklyn. She got killed on Nostrand Avenue, and the McDonald's right there at Flatbush Extension, Flatbush Junction, over there at Brooklyn College. She was cheerleading in Brooklyn College, and some guy walked into the thing while she was meeting with her sister for lunch, and she got killed. So that time for me was very, very, I was messed up. I was digging into my cash, storefronts, that bad time, and somebody came and got me and said, Sonny Carson wanted to talk to you. This Sonny Carson, what you see me about? Because somebody went and told him, you better go get that brother. That brother, man, we can't lose him. Because I was losing. I mean, my son got killed. I just couldn't. My son was the piece of, the straw that broke the,
Right.
And so I went and sat down with this man, and they took me to worlds, man. I expected to see a big guy, sincere type of guy, the real big dude. So he was a little guy, he wasn't that little, but he was a powerful man. He was like steel, had hands like steel, But they held me down, man. They held me. Sonny said, well, look here, man. I need to talk. He said, man, we talked about a few things, and one of the things that we talked about was, he wasn't gonna let me go nowhere until he got me straight. Because I was all cracked out. I was smoking crack. I wasn't doing no dope. I was drinking. Because I couldn't burn that pain out. And they did me in, bro. They did what they had to do. But I came out of that shit. It was like.
What year was that, Carl?
This was wow. I can't remember. This is about 30 years ago, bro.
Like somewhere in the early born ciphers.
This is what year was that? 88.
Okay.
88, 89.
Okay, so that's well after when he did the movie and everything. That's
because because the movie and everything. So, he did the movie in 70 something, 75, something like that, 73, around there, and a lot of us were still we were doing a lot of teaching there. Akbar and them, they were. Did Akbar and them acknowledge themselves by then? They might have,
Well, because I know Akbar, right afterwards, from what I was told, right afterwards he got out after the movie, right after the movie.
Yeah, because the guards found it, who went out, it was, I can't think of this brother's name, it was Sonny Allah and the brother, how can I forget this brother? Everybody knows him. Some beautiful brothers, man, they went out there, who was it? This brother used to run with us. Everybody, it was El Sonny Allah's partner. Whoever was out there, you all know who El Sonny Allah's partner was. I can't think of his name right offhand. But they went out there and they started teaching. And then we had Messiah was out there, Puerto Rican Messiah from out there in Euclid Avenue, the projects out there. We had Charlique out there. We had who else was out there? Monique was out there. Father Biden and them was in Canarsie. So,
Right.
but they came later. You know, all the brothers came out at the same time. But Akbar, man, he was a brother that hooked up. When he hooked up with Sonny, Akbar he wasn't that literate. You know, the brother wasn't that.
He couldn't read.
But he was a genius when it came to manipulating them developers and stuff like that to build his community up. You know. Because he couldn't stop them from tearing down the developments that were there already, the tenement houses with 10 and 15 people in the building. Because what it did, Sonny Carson didn't want that to happen, because when you tear down tenement buildings with, let's say on Saratoga Avenue, you got like maybe 10 different buildings on that block. Each building has like 10 families. Like that's like 5 different, that's 10, 20, 30, 40. That's 5 buildings on one side of the street. That would be like 50 families. The other side might have 3 buildings. That might be 30 families. That's 80 families. Anywhere, each block had at least 100 families to a block. When you came and you tore down all them buildings with all them families in it, you taking away families and you put a house down, one house. So for every building, there must have been 2 houses. So you wind up losing voting power. Because each individual is a vote. You know what I'm saying? So Brownsville was stronger that they had all them people in there that was always voting in a certain way, so they kept their power there to a certain degree. Once you tore them buildings down, their power was gone, you know, as far as votes.
Because they were broken up, separated.
Then he moved into the neighborhood. The whole Brownsville got torn down almost. So all the people were gone. They lost all their voting.
So they were trying like to basically, like you saying, like gentrify the Brownsville at the time?
That was what it was. They were calling themselves beautifying the community, but people didn't see it. Because the ones that got the houses, they got their house. They ain't worried about no fucking vote. They got theirs. You know, but at the same time, what about all what about for each building, what about all the, what about the other 8 families? Where they going? To the Bronx, further out east New York. I mean, Brownsville was laid low with all them houses, you know, them duplexes, this and that. But for each house, you got rid of at least 10, 8 families. Because they used to stay in that place. Now you only got 1 family. You know, so Sonny's seeing that, and people used to come and say, "Yo, that's voting power," and that's how Brownsville lost a lot of what it was getting back then. Now, in order to build these houses, Akbar said, "We can't stop them from building." Well, he said, "I'm going to handle this," and they had to go through him to even get a tire. You know. They couldn't do nothing in Brownsville unless they went to Akbar, because them boys wasn't having it. That's how he got the coalitions. He would go all over with his coalition and get work. But when it came to Brownsville, no, you had to go to Akbar. And Sonny has his back on that. But Akbar was a genius when it came to negotiating with them developers. They knew him and they respected him. You know, it wasn't about, as long as he walked in the room, everything was peace. But he never bit his tongue. I was never there for any negotiations, things of that nature. You know, but Akbar was he was an awesome brother. He got to work he put a lot of brothers to work. But they're still there. All that work they did, they're still there. You would think, you got your money there. Work is one thing. And they were there for a minute. Akbar's going, and all the guys that was working for him, they're all still there. You know? Something about Brownsville that kept people there, you know? Instead of leaving, you know, and let the next person come in, you know, and them projects, you know, that's the only thing they couldn't tear down. But all the rest of them houses and this and that around the project, I got 2 daughters came out of them projects, man. You know? One around the corner from the other, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was rough.
This
goes way back before then, though.
Right.
I go back into this. It's about the same time. They stopped lying. 75. I didn't hang out with Akbar and them, but I know when I finally caught up with Akbar, we used to sit down and talk with Sonny a lot. But I never got involved in their personal business, you know. I stayed out of their politics, you know. But my thing was just to make sure I could change the name of the street, you know, travel with the plan, you know, and just take care of Sonny. Man, Sonny when I went.
If Mecca did this.